Good morning, my brothers and sisters, and my sisters and my brothers. Today we're going to honor women because Mary is going to break the clinging rule, which we'll see here at the end of the story. So we're in scenes from the resurrection. First scene is the guards. They get this earthquake, the stones rolled away. Second scene is the guards flee. The third scene is these group of women, including Mary Magdalene and others, approach very early in the morning. They see the stone rolled away. Mary takes off to tell the disciples. The other women go into the tomb and get an angel announcement that he is risen. So scene 6 is that they're charged with the greatest of news, which is to run back. So they run back. Meantime, Mary Magdalene is back telling Peter and John. They run to the tomb. They don't understand that he must rise. And as we start today's scene, which is scene 8, nobody has seen the Lord yet. And the disciples are kind of getting this theological understanding of the Lord, but Mary is going to get this incredible relational encounter with the Lord. So the lead up is in Mark 16, verse 9. It says, Mary Magdalene. Now, who is she? She's one of the heroes of the faith. She was there for Jesus before, during, and after his crucifixion. She continues a ministry of Jesus before the cross, after the cross, and after that, consistent with what she had been doing way back in Galilee. Generous, faithful, brave. She's a witness. She just keeps showing up, a great person. So she returns to the tomb after Peter and John race there. She returns to the tomb, not having heard the angel say that Jesus has been risen. So as far as she knows, there's no resurrection. So she started this morning in a group. They took off. She saw the stone, went back to Peter and John, felt an earthquake maybe. She's already run one circuit, so they beat him to the tomb, and then this happens. So this is John chapter 20, verse 11. But Mary stood weeping outside the tomb, and as she wept, she stooped to look in the tomb. She doesn't go in, she stoops in there. She sees two angels. So Mary's kind of going supernatural now. They're in white. They're sitting where the body of Jesus had lain, one at the head, one at the feet. And they said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping?" Jesus likes the question so much he repeats it in just a second. She said to them, "They have taken away my Lord, and I do not where they have laid them." So again, she's on this theft theme that at this moment in time, she's all about the stolen Jesus. So yet another insult is foisted upon him. Stolen Jesus, dead Jesus. Remember, she came to spice him that day on the third day, not to have a resurrection party. Verse 14. And having said this, she turned around and saw Jesus standing. You can't emphasize this enough. Mary Magdalene, write this down, is the first to see Jesus after the resurrection. What a treasure. What a gift. What an honor. So Jesus is the firstborn from the dead, Yahoo, and Mary is the first to see it, to see him, the first to see him, the first to hear him. So there's two angels inside the tomb and one risen Savior outside the tomb. So that's the moment. And back to the verse. But she did not know it was Jesus. Jesus said to him, "Woman, why are you weeping? Whom are you seeking?" Great question. We do another podcast on that. And then supposing him to be the gardener. Now, I just love this part. It makes total sense. So it's not a tomb, just a tomb. It's a tomb in a garden. And gardens don't just happen. So they require ongoing maintenance. And if you're going to be doing ongoing maintenance in the Middle East, you're going to go first thing in the morning. So she says to him, "Sir, if you have carried him away, tell me where you have laid him, and I will take him away." Again, she's on this theft theme. She's wrong about the theft. She's wrong about the identity. She's going to be wrong about what her eyes see here in a second. So Jesus has this body that is going to take him to heaven forever. Jesus has the same body, as far as we know, same body at this moment in time with Mary as he's going to have when you meet him up in heaven. He has this resurrection body that is going to be ascending in a little bit. So it's different than our bodies. So different so that Mary didn't appreciate it. His friend of years. Verse 16. Then Jesus says to her, Mary. And then she recognizes he's not stolen. He's not the gardener. This is not his regular body, but consistent enough. And I just love that it is her name, not the name woman, the name Mary, that opens her eyes and opens her heart and opens the soul to this. So it's her name. It is what we all want to hear from the risen Lord, is our name spoken in friendship. You had me at my name. So then she turns to him in Aramaic and says Rabboni, which means teacher. Jesus said to her, this is my second favorite part, do not cling to me. Why does Jesus have to say that? Well, because Mary clings to Jesus. So it means not just touch, not just have contact, but to hold on to and retain in your hand and fasten yourself to her, then bind yourself together. So why did Jesus have to say that? Well, because Mary wasn't letting go. I love this. So he says, for I have not ascended to the Father, but I go to my brothers. So he calls these knuckleheads, the abandoners, the deserters. Nope, he doesn't call them that. He calls them my brothers. And say to them, I am ascending to my Father and your Father, to my God and your God. Mary Magdalene went and announced to his disciples, I have seen the Lord, and that he had said these things to her. So here's my question for us today is, are you ready to see and hear Jesus after the resurrection? Are you ready to hear Jesus speak your name in intimacy and in relationship and in friendship? Or the other choice, are you ready to hear your name spoken in judgment? So everybody you know is going to see the Lord. Everyone's going to be able to say, I've seen the Lord. You will, I will, Satan will, the demons will. The question is, will the Lord speak to you in friendship and in relationship? So the Lord speaks in friendship to those who have themselves made themselves friends by faith. So let's do that. Or will the Lord speak to you in a broken relationship and in judgment? So have you spoken to the Lord in friendship? Have you spoken to the Lord in recognition of his lordship and his accomplishment and his conquering death? So he paid an unjust penalty upon himself, the worst humanity has ever invented, the crucifixion, so that you don't have to pay that penalty on yourself. Have you received him? Have you received him? Be like Mary. How so? Cling to Jesus. Fasten your wagon to his. Bind yourself to him. Hold on so much that he has to say to you, okay, that's enough. You can let go of me. So break the rules. If you hear your name called, you'll cling to. I hope you get to hear your name, and I hope you get to break the rules about clinging because you're so excited about it. Thanks for listening.